Well, it's the start of the week and I'm going to make a video with Mum. So I need to go downstairs and pinch the giant clock because last time we filmed in 2 long sections and I had to snip them so I could upload it. So that's just going to make my life a bit easier. There we go. I'll put the clock there, and when 5 minutes has passed, we can shut up. And that'll be easy for us to see because it's enormous. Need to clean up from the video I shot with Mum. Please check out our playlist, Fireside Chats, if you want to see some good stuff with Mum in it. We may need to switch the chairs because this chair is a bit higher than this chair, and it's creating this optical illusion where Mum looks quite a lot larger than she is, and she's not very pleased about it. So I'll have to try and sort that out. But she's actually a bit of a natural on camera. So yeah, we'll see if I can sort that out for her. Or maybe I won't, because it's kind of funny. Oh, I'm so disappointed. I thought we had some potatoes growing in the garden, and it turns out we just have a tomato plant that's gone wild and a bit of wild radish. And I'm going to look really foolish because Mum's like, and it's very hard to tell the difference between a tomato plant and a potato. And I said, yes, but I know my horticulture. Well, apparently I don't. I'm really disappointed because we're making a brisket and I wanted roast potatoes to go with it from our garden because nothing tastes as good as fresh potatoes. Oh, is that a potato? Let me see. Nah, it's just tomato. How annoying. I just have to use the ones from Aldi's, and it's not really the same. Oh well, at least we've got red potatoes. They tend to taste quite delicious. So disappointing. So I'm going to roast these potatoes, and a trick I learnt for roasting potatoes is if you leave them to soak for 30 minutes, they come out very crispy. I don't understand the science, but it's a real thing, and I just chucked the pumpkin in there because it's a good start on giving it a clean. Well, it's been a very hectic week, which means my vlog is incredibly lackluster. So, being a New Zealander, I shall take you out to show you my garden, because that's what we tend to do when we don't know what else to talk about. We have a big iris patch here that did not produce a lot of flowers in spring. They've just continued to produce leaves all summer, so that's a bit disappointing. And then we have that geranium that's looking quite healthy. Geraniums seem to grow very well in this part of Australia. And there are cracks in this wall, and Mum says she doesn't like the cracks because they make the house look unstable, even though the house itself is extremely solid. So she's growing this sort of succulent thing down the side to make it more pretty. And we don't usually like succulents, but it's quite a special succulent, and it's growing up like some sort of hedge. It's quite amazing, really. And then this whopping big purple thing, Mum cut it down so you could actually see the window behind it, but it just grew up really fast and you can't see the window. But she says she doesn't mind because it was so hot during summer, but she's going to chop it back. And then we have this rose which was dying out the back, and then Mum moved it, and as you can see it seems to have really enjoyed that. And then, oh, we were so excited because we found out that we have a pomegranate, but we overwatered it because Dad put his watering spike in the middle of it, which it really appreciated. But apparently, if you give them too much water, they don't produce fruit. So we haven't had fruit, and it's really disappointing because I love pomegranates, but maybe I'll see if there's something you can do with the flowers. That could be interesting. And from flowers you get fruit. Well, we've had lots of flowers and they just drop off. So I do actually know what I'm talking about. And then, you might remember, this was just growing all over the gate. So Mum's tied it up, or Dad tied it up. I don't know which one. We're trying to grow it up to the balcony because it's Lady Banks or Banksia Rose, and they can get really huge. So we're going to help it get really huge because I think a rose growing up a brick house is just one of the great joys in life. Up through the gate. So, as we have established, we're not the greatest vegetable gardeners. We do have rather sad looking little silver beet, which might give its life for pie tonight, actually. And we have a bit of basil, which is really nice. I love the smell of it. And we did have some mint, but Mum got all enthusiastic and pulled it all out. And then I was making potatoes, and I was like, "Where's the mint?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, I thought it was getting out of hand, and I thought we had another mint, so I ripped it out. Sorry." And I really wish, in some ways, I'd snipped the roses back, because I wanted to get rose hips, but apparently they don't really form till autumn. So these things have just looked straggly and messy. Oh, but look, there's one little hip starting. And this is an old-fashioned rose, and they get really big and orange and delicious looking. And then I'm going to jolly well try and cook something with it. And I'll let you know how it goes, because I like trying different things. Oh yes, you see, we have one sad little tomato. Well, we've got a few in there. I'm going to crawl in, and I'm going to get that because it looks delicious. Very nice for snacking on. I think this is one of those, what do they call it? Like it's an alternative to sugar. Stevia, I think. Oh yeah, it smells like stevia. I better check though, because I don't want to eat something poisonous. And as you can see, the weeds are getting up hand. Excuse me. That tomato went down the wrong way. And this is some sort of pumpkin-y squash thing. That's a late bloomer, but who knows, maybe we'll get something delicious off it. And well, yes, our sunflowers looking, well, worthy of a Van Gogh painting, really. He seemed to prefer his sunflowers when they were all looking dead and wasted. So I think that's, the garden gets increasingly less interesting. We have this big bushy thing that, you see, Dad's not a very tall man. None of us are very tall. And sometimes he comes out there with his what do they call them? Snippers. No, they don't call them snippers. And he snips. And he snips. And you can see how tall he is, because he snips as tall as far as he can get. Which means that this bit is pruned back and this bit isn't. And that's a testament to the fact that we're very short. Actually, Mum's side of the family, people used to think they were trolls, apparently. There are two kinds of Vikings. There's the tall, beautiful ones that have descended into supermodels, according to Mum. And then there's the kind of Vikings we're descended from. And they were so short and ugly, people thought they were trolls. It's really quite annoying when you think about it. And there we have the residue of our sunflowers and pumpkins. And we have a few more flowers in the pumpkin garden. And who knows, maybe we'll get some autumn pumpkins. That would be nice. Thus concludes the tour of our garden. Thank you for joining me. So I thought I'd show you what Dad's been up to. He's been making a couple of sweatshirts. We have Susie Solves the Case, and we also have the house lion reclining in a typewriter, who is our Zealaus Publishing mascot. Dad is so clever. I wanted to show you him working the other day, because he does all our designs and layouts, and I said, "Can I film you for my vlog?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Really?" And he's like, "Yes, I don't want to be in your vlog." And then he said, "Why do you want me in your vlog?" And I said, "Because you would make it better." And I really meant it. And he still said no. So I came out and I sat in this chair for 5 minutes so he could feel what he had done. And he didn't feel it at all. And he hasn't brought it up again. So apparently he doesn't want to be filmed when he's working. So I thought I'd just show you some of his stuff, because he's not around to stop me. And he made these Zealous mugs. Isn't he clever? Well, he designed them. He didn't make the mugs. He's not a potter. Oh, and I thought this was quite fun to show you. All of my author friends will know exactly what this is. But when a book comes, the first author's copy actually has a big band saying "not for resale." And the sole purpose of this book is to go through and have marks made and adjustments. It's like the final edit, and it ends up looking a little bit like a McDonald's bag of fries, actually, which is quite hilarious. But Dad does our covers as well. He's like our, what would you call it, graphic design, I think. And he's just really clever. He also did the big, beautiful pull-out that goes with Mum's exhibition. She's got an art exhibition that's going to be going into the local art gallery. It's going to be its first stop. And he did a big pull-out for that, a big, giant pull out for promotional reasons, and he's just really talented. A most clever man is Mr. Hamilton. I've showed you that one several times. Yeah, he does the kids' books too. Very, very, very broadly talented. And I thought you might like to see some of his work, even though he seems quite determined that I'm not to film him working. There you go. Thought you might find that a bit interesting. And he's not around to stop me, is he? Oh, and I just remembered, you know how I was out in the garden and I said that we're descended from the Vikings who were so short and ugly people thought they were trolls, and that's why we're not tall. Actually, my brother John is really tall, but I think that's probably the Hamilton genetics, because no one thought the Hamiltons were ugly, short trolls. I think they lived in a castle or something. So anyway, I thought I should just clarify that we're not all short, but then again, only one of us is tall. So it looks like the Hamilton genetics probably lost. Well, there's my crispy potatoes, not from our garden, unfortunately, but still pretty delicious. And we're going to put that with a brisket, which looks really ugly because we did it in the crock pot, but it will taste delicious. And some roast pumpkin, and I've just got some peas on the stove. So that's what we'll be having for dinner. Thank you so much for joining us again for the daily doings at Rosebank House. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll try and talk to you next week. Bye bye.